What happens when a Hollywood icon known for his muscle-bound action roles takes on the political arena? Arnold Schwarzenegger, once the ultimate action hero, has now entered the world of political discourse, and his recent clash with Donald Trump has raised more than a few eyebrows. So what exactly went down between these two? How did Arnold the Terminator manage to put Trump in his place? And what's behind this dramatic shift in Arnold's political views? Keep reading, because this battle isn't just about politics. It's about standing up for truth and democracy in a world that's starting to feel like a reality TV show. Now, let's rewind a bit. Do you remember when Arnold Schwarzenegger was cast as the big replacement for Donald Trump on The Celebrity Apprentice? Well, we know how that turned out. Big disaster. The ratings plummeted, and it was clear that the switch didn't quite have the intended effect. That's when Arnold made a suggestion to Trump that seemed both bold and strangely fitting. Why don't we switch jobs? You run the TV show because you're such an expert in ratings, and I'll take over your job. People would sleep a lot better at night, he quipped. Little did anyone know, this would mark the beginning of an intense political showdown between the former friends. Being originally from Europe, Arnold has seen firsthand how things can spiral out of control. He knows that there's a real fear, in the U.S. and across the globe, that we might be headed down a path that history has already traveled. In fact, Arnold took to social media to school Trump in the most public way possible. This wasn't just a casual disagreement. It was a full-on critique of Trump's alternative facts, with Arnold taking it up a notch and comparing Trump's actions to some of history's darkest figures. But that's not all. Arnold didn't just stop at a simple criticism. He threw down some hard-hitting comparisons to some pretty notorious figures in history. Want to know who? Well, stay tuned, because Arnold didn't just bring his A-game, he brought an entire forest of truth bombs. And the internet? They were losing their minds. Before we dive into the details, let's pause for a second. If you're enjoying this content, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of viewers are watching without subscribing, and your support makes a huge difference. It costs you nothing, but it helps us tremendously. Did you hit that subscribe button? Awesome. Now back to the showdown. If you remember Arnold from his days as a brawny action hero, that's a far cry from the man he is now. He's no longer just the Terminator, but a full-on political commentator. And while we may still picture him as the muscular action star these days, Arnold's using his biceps to poke holes in Trump's ego. Forget the leather jacket, he's now rocking a political blazer and has transitioned from movie star to political heavyweight. But let's face it, making the transition from the screen to politics isn't a smooth ride. Arnold quickly learned that governing was more complicated than simply declaring, "I'll be back," and blowing things up. Politics is an entirely different genre than action films, and Arnold discovered that the hard way. This shift wasn't immediate. It took some time for Arnold to adjust from being the man who saves the day in blockbuster films to the man trying to navigate the complexities of running California. And yet, despite the rocky start, Arnold took his role as governor seriously, using his platform to push for reforms. What makes this even more intriguing is that Arnold and Trump weren't always political foes. In fact, they were once friends. If you could imagine two people with absurdly styled hair, those two were the dynamic duo of the business world. They had a bromance, but like most Hollywood friendships, it didn't last. Something changed, and Arnold's political views evolved, especially after Trump's presidency went into full swing. The tipping point came after the Capitol riot. Arnold, ever the realist, saw this as a defining moment and chose to speak out. As an immigrant to the U.S., Arnold couldn't stay silent anymore. He condemned Trump for trying to overturn the results of a fair election, calling him a failed leader who would go down in history as the worst president ever. It was clear Arnold had undergone a dramatic shift in his political views, one that saw him transform from a Republican governor to an outspoken anti-Trump activist. For Arnold, this wasn't just a political stance, it was personal. Arnold's father had ties to the Nazi Party, a fact he's discussed openly in his videos. He's no stranger to the dark consequences of hateful ideologies. His famous words, "I know where such lies lead, and I'm not going to let that happen again," reflect his commitment to fighting back against propaganda and lies, especially when they have the power to divide and harm. This, of course, brings us to the infamous moment when Arnold compared the Capitol riot to Kristallnacht, the violent anti-Semitic rampage that occurred in 1938. It was a bombshell moment that sent shockwaves through the internet, and Arnold became a symbol of moral clarity in the face of political chaos. For Arnold, this wasn't just about politics. This was about taking a stand for democracy and fighting against the forces of hate and lies that he's witnessed firsthand in his own family's history. He wasn't just throwing political jabs. He was making a statement about the future of the nation. His video went viral, and not in a cat video kind of way. This was the real deal. A Hollywood action hero making a stand for what he believes is right, and the world took notice. While the internet was ablaze with Arnold's video, Trump wasn't about to stay quiet. The two exchanged barbs, with Trump lashing out at Arnold's Celebrity Apprentice ratings, but it was clear who was winning the battle of ideas. Trump's focus on TV ratings seemed almost childish compared to Arnold's serious message about democracy, truth, and unity. And in the meantime, Arnold's viral video was being shared across social media, outpacing Trump's tweets and memes at a staggering rate. It wasn't just about who had the better TV show. It was about who had the moral high ground. The battle between Trump and Arnold has become more than just a political fight. It's become a cultural moment, a reflection of the deepening divide in American politics. Will Arnold's message be enough to sway the masses, or is it all just another celebrity spectacle? The question on everyone's mind is whether we're seeing the birth of a new breed of political activists, celebrities who are taking a stand not just in the spotlight but in the arena of democracy itself. And speaking of celebrities, it seems Arnold isn't the only one with something to say. More and more celebrities are stepping into the political arena, taking their own stands on the issues that matter most. Whether they're using their fame to promote democracy or to challenge the status quo, it's clear that the days of simply playing action heroes on screen are behind us. These days, it's about taking action off-screen too. So, what's next? In the Arnold versus Trump saga, will Arnold continue to use his platform to fight for democracy, or will the battle turn into just another political theater? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. This showdown is far from over. The stakes are high, and it's a fight that's not just about politics. It's about the future of the nation and the values we hold dear. The question remains, who will emerge victorious? Will it be the muscle-bound action star or the reality TV mogul? Stay tuned to find out.